Hey everyone, Futo P.I just came out, so let's talk about it. This is a random review for the Kamen Rider sequel anime, Futo P.I. Now, if you've followed my channel for a while, you might know I'm intensely into old school Japanese Showa tokusatsu shows. Despite the fact that I started watching the original Kamen Rider when I was 18, I still have not worked my way through the extremely long and slow process of watching all the classic Rider series because not all of them are readily available in America. That being said, I still need to really get around to watching Kamen Rider X, Kamen Rider Stronger, and Sky Rider, and then I will have finally completed the Showa Kamen Riders. In 2010, Kamen Rider W came out, and that was a random exception where the public goodwill around that series was so fucking high that year I just said fuck it, and I watched W week to week as it came out because there was really nothing good to watch that year, and you know what? I fucking loved it. Kamen Rider W was the story of Shotaro, a second-generation hard-boiled detective, and his best friend, the gender-fluid hipster Philip. Together, the two of them fused together to create Kamen Rider W, a very classic-looking Kamen Rider who had the power to use Gaia memories to create new powers, making him almost kind of like a Mega Man sort of Kamen Rider, which is something I really got into. And lastly, the team was rounded out by their bitchy landlord, played by the both hilarious and smoking hot actress Hikaru Yamamoto. But the thing I loved most about this series was their never-ending war for justice against a series of superpowered drug addicts called the Dope Ants. All the fucking bad guys in the show are literally fucking drug addicts with drug problems. They start out as just normal people having these drug problems, but they're taking these nightmare drugs from another dimension, and if they take enough of them, they turn into monsters. That is so real, that is so gritty, that is exactly what Shotaro Ishinomori-sensei would have wanted, because the original manga versions of Go Ranger and Jack had similar dark plot lines, and I fucking loved it. Kamen Rider W was an amazing series. It was somehow serious enough for adults, but funny enough for kids, and yeah, just Kamen Rider W, a non-stop splendiferous ride of fun, on top of the fact it had the same fucking announcer as the game Sonic Colors, so you could do some non-stop Kamen Rider W Sonic Colors mashups, because that was hilarious. It's been 10 years, the internet has done like every variation of it, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So recently, this anime, Futo P.I, was first announced, and this was a genius fucking idea because when W was originally airing in 2010, all people wanted was a fucking manga. They wanted to continue the story into a manga, and now instead of doing a manga, they did an anime, and an anime is just a manga that moves. So that's a win-win for everyone. Oh, and did I mention that Kamen Rider W was the first show to canonically introduce Kamen Rider Skull as an official concept? That is so cool because originally the first Kamen Rider was going to be Skull Rider, but now here he is in this show doing his skull thing. Anyway, so let's get around to watching Futo P.I. From here on out, I'm going to be spoiling the first episode, so if you guys want to watch the first episode, pause my video here and then come back because I'm going to be talking about everything that happened in the episode and how I felt about it. So the show starts off with a hella dramatic flashback to the death of Shotaro's boss, Skull Rider. This is the moment that started him off on his path to being a hardboiled detective, and this anime rendition of it has so much more blood than the live-action version, and that alone makes me very excited that this is going to be a much darker, much gorier show than the live-action show. So excited. Waku waku. Anyway, so then we see this fucking gorgeous montage of the entire events of Kamen Rider W just kind of being like, Kamen Rider W, Kamen Rider uses powers to destroy monsters left and right, but no matter how powerful he was, he couldn't do anything to get over his dead boss. So that brings us into episode 1 of Futo P.I.'s The Man Who Loved a Witch. And so instantly we're back into that hard-boiled Kamen Rider W vibe, but now it's an anime, and since it's an anime, the vibe is even more serious than it was in the live-action show. Except Shotaro starts off the episode by Instagramming selfies to everyone. Akiko calls him up having none of that shit and tells him to get back to work because it's the middle of the night. And then as he's being all hard-boiled down by the docks, he sees a random hottie in a nightgown wandering around the streets of Tokyo at midnight, and she's not wearing a bra. And seeing all this makes him hornier than he should be, confused, not thinking about the logistics here. In fact, Shotaro is so horny about this braless nightgown mystery lady that he almost grabs her by her braless tits, but he backs off after talking to her a little bit and deciding she's weird and probably not a hooker. So then he notices that while he was thinking about all this, she just kept walking and went straight off the dock into the ocean. Shotaro is a little bit out of character here, being super distracted by his horny here. But again, in the original show, he never faced a half-naked woman like this, so I guess that's fair. So then we go back to the pool hall where the main characters live, and the pool hall is rendered in gorgeous CI. Akiko shows up here, and she's just straight up torturing Shotaro for not being a worthy successor to her father's detective business. And then the client arrives in the middle of the night, and he's some fat yellow shirt bro. Akiko goes off topic and confuses everybody by ranting about how cute cats are. And then Fat Farmer Bro starts his story and reveals that he wants Shotaro to stop the witch for him. So Fat Farmer Bro tells his backstory. He's a farmer from Hokkaido who just moved to Futo, and he's been seeing this witch walking around with no bra in that half-naked nightgown outfit. And yeah, it's the same chick Shotaro just ran into. And Fat Bro tried to give her money, but instead she stole his entire backpack with her supernatural witch powers. By the way, Philip is in, like, his bedroom, and it's been a decade since I watched the original Kamen Rider, but didn't Philip, like, die or get trapped in another dimension at the end of it? Anyway, I forget why Philip is back, but, yeah, didn't the show, like, organically stop with them being separated, and then they couldn't be Kamen Rider W anymore? And then he became Kamen Rider Joker without Philip. Yeah. Anyway, so in this show, everything's back to the normal status quo. So, did I miss like a sequel movie where they like fixed everything? Because I know there were like a billion fucking sequel movies because it's Kamen Rider. Anyway, so unfortunately Fat Bro is also very horny for the witch, and he seems to want to talk to her more than he wants his wallet back. So that's why he's hired Shotaro instead of calling the cops. So this is all very, very, very suspicious. Now look, I'm going to be a man here and admit that this girl definitely has some smoking hot animal magnetism to herself, mostly because she's not wearing a bra, she's just walking around in this nightgown instead of wearing like a t-shirt outside. But everyone here is just straight up clowning themselves to death over this chick, and it's not good. Anyway, so Philip almost gets out of bed at this point, but Philip is an antisocial... What's the opposite of an insomniac? A narcoleptic? Anyway, so yeah, he's an antisocial narcoleptic, and I'm glad that the anime has given Philip some green hair, which is a nice stylistic twist. Anyway, so Shotaro leaves on his own to go look for the witch, and Shotaro does the classic thing he used to do in the Kamen Rider W TV show, where he would look for clues by gossiping with like literally every different subclass of people in the city. So he goes around the city, does this for the entire day, gets tired out, and buys some ramen, only to then get texted by Watcherman. Watcherman was a character established in the TV show. Watcherman is just this hipster weirdo. If I remember my history right, Watcherman was played by a guy who was nearly starved and locked in an apartment in Korea for 3 years, which is like a whole separate story, but it's like really dark. It was like a twisted reality TV show. And that's why they named him Watcherman in this show, because, you know, people watched him be tortured on reality TV for 3 years. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. I'm glad he's getting legitimate work again now, because I feel for that guy. Anyway, Watcherman tells Shotaro where the witch is, and fuck, does she have some superhuman speed and agility? So he has to chase her with literally his motorcycle, because she's a superhuman. So at this point, we see the triumphant return of the double cycle, and we get this hella gorgeous CGI chase as Shotaro chases after the witch on motorcycles. He finally traps her in a dead-end alley, and he tries to question her. She tells him that her name is Tokime, but otherwise she's pissed that he caught her. And so once again, the animators really over-animate the fact that she is not wearing a bra, and she is just a very, very perky girl. So Shotaro gets distracted again looking at her midriff, and while he's looking at her midriff, she kicks him in the balls for being a perv. Then she lures him into an evil dimensional space? The fuck is this? Are we in Space Sheriff Gavin now? And then somehow he teleports out of the dimensional space into a random Yakuza den. Now, ironically, the Yakuza call the cops on him for bumping into them, which is a very weird move because I guess these are either really upstanding Yakuza or they're corruptly in bed with the cops. So this whole moment really made me be like, what the fuck? So the cops take Shotaro out of there and give him more information that they're trying to keep the Yakuza from starting a gang war which will trigger a killing spree. That's why the Yakuza and the cops are cooperating with each other, but also the witch they think is doing the opposite and might be trying to trigger the Yakuza gang war killing spree, which is no good for anyone. So Shotaro goes back to the fat farmer and tells him to back the fuck down because this witch is a superhuman murder suspect and maybe a cannibal or something, but Fat Bro is still thinking with his dick instead of his brain, and he wants to meet her because he's never met a girl and he's ignoring all these very dangerous warnings. God damn it, you fat bastard. You're literally destroying your life for the first woman you ever saw walking around in public without a bra. If I was Shotaro, I would slap this dude right here and drop this case hard. But unfortunately, Shotaro needs the money to pay his rent, so he has to play along. Philip calls him at this point and points out that this case is going into very fucked up territory fast. Philip volunteers his help and raises the suspicion that the witch is another Gaia memory-powered dopant. This is the first time this has come up in the show, but this would totally track with the lore of the previous Kamen Rider W live-action series, which I weren't sure if we were going back to the dopant situation or not, but here we are. Shotaro also has to consider how he's going to deal with the witch, because apparently last time before she kicked him in the balls, he managed to cop a feel on her. Shotaro is also putting his dick ahead of his brain here, which is something that he never did in the show. Anyway, so the next time he finds the witch, she is literally showering bare-ass naked in a fucking bird bath in the center of the city. Shotaro and the fat guy see her tits and they see everything, and when she notices that she's being watched, she finally puts on a bra after this entire episode of not wearing one. But yeah, that's literally all she's wearing now. She's wearing a bra but no pants or underpants. Wow, the show is just so more violent and so much more erotic than the original Kamen Rider W, and it's so much better. Anyway, so Shotaro does not look at this bare-ass naked woman and goes on to a monologue about how he found her by talking to some hobos. And then the camera cuts back to her and now she's back to wearing pants, a nightgown, and no bra again. So Fat Bro nicely asks her if he can have his bag back, but instead Tokimi pulls down her pants and reveals that she has a Gaia memory snugly inside her panties. Which again, if you didn't watch Kamen Rider W, the Gaia memories are basically USB memories filled with super-powered super drugs. Kamen Rider W can use them safely through his W driver, showing that some drugs are good, but dopants just inject them directly into their bloodstream like fucking morphium addicts. So anyway, Fat Bro and Shotaro get dragged into the Makukukan again, which takes them to Futo in a weird alternate dimension where there's no wind, but there's more fans everywhere, and it gives me this very bad Persona vibe. Anyway, so then Fat Bro and Shotaro get flanked and sniped by lasers, giant orange saw blades, but luckily Philip shows up at the last second and saves them with his superpowers. I forgot Philip had superpowers, but hey, this is a superhero show. And so the episode ends with Shotaro and Philip teaming up again. Now, real quick, just a guess at what might be happening here. I remember in the original Kamen Rider W live action show, Philip could go into like a cyberspace or like a mind space where he could think out his thoughts. It's entirely possible that this alternate dimension the witch is creating could be an extension of Philip's cyberspace. That's how Philip was able to travel there, if that is what's going on. Anyway, then we get this super cool jazzy end song about love, crime, and punishment that was almost entirely into English. Very catchy song. And after the episode, we have a short palate-cleansing SD short where Akiko tortures Shotaro again with hard-boiled eggs because he's a hard-boiled detective, and law, those two words are the same. This is totally in the style of one of the more random zany scenes from Kamen Rider W, but I think it works a lot better as its own thing than as a random scene to disrupt the plot. So, wow, Futo P.I.s. It's everything I wanted and more. Fucking loved it. Why the fuck does this anime only have a 40% positivity score? Are people who did not watch Kamen Rider W watching it and downvoting it? What the hell's going on here? I love this show. Why would anyone not love this show? I mean, it definitely seems to be targeted at people who have already seen Kamen Rider W. They saw it 10 years ago, and now maybe they're a little bit older. So, you know, if you saw it as a teenager, now you're in your 20s. If you saw it as a kid, now you're a teenager. Either way, this is definitely a sexier, more violent Kamen Rider W, and I'm all here for it. We got the boss's flashback with more blood. We got the fact that Togami the witch is like bouncing her braless nipples throughout literally every scene she appears in. Plus the fact Shotaro saw what was... Shotaro just saw her naked in this episode because she was bathing naked in a public fountain in the middle of the fucking city and just everyone casually ignored it. But yeah, they are not holding back sexually in the show, and I'm fully here for this. Like, I'm ready for like a horny anime again, okay? Shotaro never got this worked up about a woman in the original show, but I'm wondering if that was mostly because Kamen Rider W was technically being marketed towards kids, so they were forbidden to have such full-on adult plot lines before. The main theme of Kamen Rider W, the live-action show, was that winners don't use drugs, and based on the fact that we got a bad guy in memory coming back in this episode, we might get even more of that, but I'm hoping they go even darker with it. Also, in this episode, there was some flack online that Kamen Rider W only fully transformed for like a few seconds in the prologue, and didn't transform at all in like the rest of the episode. Okay, that's another thing that I'm okay with because I watch Kamen Rider W, because there's two things here. First of all, Kamen Rider W did a lot of two-part cliffhanger episodes where in the first episode they'd introduce the problem, and in the second episode Kamen Rider W would transform and kill the monster. I fucking love that. It was like a throwback to like 1960s Batman, where it's like, will they survive this dramatic occasion? Find out next week, viewers. Same W time, same W channel. So there's some possibilities here. Either number one, Futo P.I is continuing this cliffhanger trend where they're going to just do that again. They're going to have two-part episodes. In the next episode, they'll transform, they'll blow up the witch, all that good shit. But there's another way this could go too, and this other way would be incredible. What I'm hoping for is that they're doing something more like Kikaida the animation, another Shotaro Shinomori adaptation, where every episode just organically flows from one episode into another, and, you know, there's trauma. Since this is an anime and not a live-action show, they're freed from the episodic structure of Kamen Rider W, the live-action show, so we might get this long, overarching drama story, and I'm here for that. That's what I'm really hoping for, but we're not going to know which way it's going until we reach episode 3. In episode 3, if we're back to two-part episodes, a new case will start. Or, if not, it'll just continue. But I guess Shotaro does have to keep solving cases to pay his rent. So we're just going to have to wait and see if the episode format is still there or not. But I'm so excited right now that it has the possibility to go either way. Alright, let me know if you guys are watching Futo P.I.s. If this video gets enough hits, I will totally come back later and review the next episode. I'm so happy to be back in Futo. It is such a nice city. I'm Buster Green. Please subscribe. I need 120 subscribers to get monetized. I really want that. Thank you. Good night.